Hello, my name is Will. Can you tell me your name, please?
My name is Huy.
And can I see your identification?
Here you are.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask some questions about yourself. So to begin with, can you tell me, is there anything you would like to change about the traffic in your area?
I'd love to see the local transport authorities introduce a well-coordinated public transit system that significantly reduces the number of personal vehicles on the road. At present, the reliance on private cars and motorbikes creates chronic bottlenecks. Additionally, synchronizing traffic lights to minimize unnecessary halts would help traffic flow more smoothly. Overall, these two measures would make commuting far less stressful.
Are there a lot of crosswalks around the place where you live?
Yes, there are plenty of market crosswalks, especially near schools and shopping areas. However, drivers often fail to yield to pedestrians, and that can be quite nerve-wracking. So, while the infrastructure is there, compliance with pedestrian right-of-way remains an ongoing challenge.
Would you prefer to play in a personal garden or public garden?
I personally lean towards a public garden, mainly because it offers a broader range of spaces and activities. Beyond that, I find it more enjoyable to be around other people. I can interact with neighbors or strike up casual conversations, making the overall experience livelier and more rewarding.
How are the parks today different from those you visited as a kid?
They're much more versatile and better maintained now. A lot of modern parks feature upgraded playgrounds, well-laid jogging paths, and designated fitness stations. Back when I was younger, parks were simpler, usually consisting of basic swings and slides. Although they were pleasant in their own right, they lacked the more sophisticated facilities we see today.
What do you like to do when visiting a park?
I usually start off with a quick walk or jog to stretch my legs and soak up some fresh air. After that, I'll often find a quiet spot under a tree or near a pond to read a book or perhaps listen to a podcast. It's a balancing act between staying active and taking a moment to simply savor the peaceful surroundings.
Would you like to play in a public garden or park?
Definitely, engaging in a game of badminton, frisbee, or even catch in a public garden is a great way to stay active and have fun. The communal atmosphere fosters a sense of camaraderie, and being outdoors in a well-landscaped area makes the experience even more enjoyable.
What color makes you uncomfortable in your room?
Neon or electric colors like fluorescent green or hot pink can be quite jarring to me. They tend to dominate the overall ambience and make it difficult to relax or concentrate. I find softer, calmer hues much more conducive to a restful environment.
What colors do your friends like most?
Interestingly, several of my friends gravitate toward pastel or neutral palettes. They mention how these shades, like pale blues, light grays, or soft greens, adapt effortlessly to various styles of decor and lend an inviting, cozy ambiance to a space.
What's the color you dislike? Why?
I'm not fond of dark brown, primarily because it makes a room feel somewhat oppressive or cave-like. I prefer lighter, airier tones that can open up a space and give it a more uplifting vibe.
What's your favorite color?
I've always been drawn to shades of blue. Whether it's a gentle sky blue or a serene ocean blue, it imbues a room with a sense of calm and clarity that I find invaluable for maintaining a positive mindset.
Now, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so here's your topic, and take some time to prepare.
Okay? I'm ready.
Okay, now you've only got 1 to 2 minutes, so don't worry if I stop you in the middle. Please start talking.
As best as I can recall, one afternoon about 2 months ago, I was unwinding at a cozy coffee shop nestled in my neighborhood. I had taken a window seat, sipping my latte, and attempting to immerse myself in a novel. The cafe was alive with the whir of espresso machines and a low hum of chatter. Not far from me sat a young gentleman who was engrossed in a phone call. It was immediately clear he was talking business. He mentioned drafting a proposal and pitching some creative marketing campaigns. What caught my attention was the sheer energy in his voice. He spoke with undeniable conviction and sounded genuinely invested in shaping this project's trajectory. At first, I found his rather loud tone slightly irritating as it broke my concentration. Yet, before I realized it, I found myself tuning in rather than brushing it off. His animated discussion soon became intriguing. I appreciated how articulate and confident he was, and the passion in his words reminded me how powerful enthusiasm can be. By the end of his conversation, I felt surprisingly inspired. He had inadvertently renewed my own drive to tackle the tasks I'd set aside. It was a real testament to how contagious genuine passion can be, even when overheard by a stranger.
Okay, right, now I'd like to ask some questions related to this topic.
Okay?
Why do you think some people talk aloud on public transport?
In many cases, people simply aren't aware of how loud they are. They might come from a household where everyone speaks at a raised volume, so projecting their voice in public becomes second nature. Additionally, the ambient noise on buses and trains, like announcements, chattering passengers, or the rumble of the engine, can prompt individuals to elevate their voices just to be heard. Lastly, there's often an element of urgency. When someone is deeply engaged in a significant or time-sensitive conversation, they can become so preoccupied with the content that they forget to moderate their tone.
Why do some people always break rules in public places?
There are several motives behind this behavior. Some people consider rules like no smoking or maintain silence to be overly restrictive and believe they are entitled to more personal freedom. Others might simply be ignorant of the rules or too distracted to notice them in the first place. Then there are those who relish pushing boundaries. For them, disregarding regulations can be a form of self-expression or a way to stand out. In essence, it can boil down to a combination of personal attitudes, lack of awareness, and a desire to challenge authority.
Is it bad to talk on the phone in public places?
It really depends on context. A short, discreet phone call in a bustling environment isn't likely to bother anyone. Issues arise when people engage in prolonged or emotionally charged conversations at high volume. This can be intrusive, particularly in quiet spaces like libraries or hospital waiting rooms. Basic etiquette calls for speaking softly and keeping calls brief when surrounded by others, out of respect for their comfort and need for tranquility. So, it's less about the act itself and more about how it's carried out.